Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm in quite a good mood at the moment because Nottingham Forest are massive, not that you didn't know that already. Commiserations to Arsenal fans. Yeah, it's not like you're only going to get to the League Cup semi-finals and finish probably in the top 6 of the Premier League. Quite a terrible season, really, for you. Oh well, anyway, continuing on. Transfers. I'm a little bit behind. Quite a lot's been happening. I didn't upload at all last week, apart from the Arsenal vlog. Go and check that out. It's absolute scenes. And yeah, I need to talk about transfers because it's the transfer window. And Forest are using an incredible amount of common sense on and off the pitch right now. And I'm loving it. I really am. Steve Cook, what an absolute brilliant signing that is. Captain material. I don't think he's going to be the captain. He might be a little bit. Probably going to be Wall or Graven, really. If Graven continues to play, we'll get onto that in a moment. But Steve Cook, he looks really, really solid, calm, composed. Everything that we expected Steve Cook to do. And just to be thrown into the deep end, really, playing against Arsenal, he did incredible. Who the hell would have ever thought that was his debut? Because he looked like he was in that team for years prior. My dad said that on my vlog. He didn't look at all phased about what the situation was. And yeah, looked really, really solid. It's going to be interesting to see how Forest line up going forward. It's all but certainly going to be 3 at the back with Cook in the middle, along with McKenna and Wall. And what I noticed is Cook was often the one of those 3 that stayed back, and Wall and McKenna tend to go forward a little bit more. And you often see that from McKenna. He always tends to go on these random charging runs forward. Sometimes he's trying to make a cross, which is really uncharacteristic for a centre-back. But I think McKenna can do that a little bit more freedom now, knowing that there's 2 centre-backs to help him out. Yeah, it's just an all-round brilliant signing that. Of course, not the only signing we've made, and not the only debutant we had yesterday. Keinan Davis on loan from Aston Villa for the rest of the season. Now, you can say his stats aren't very good. 6 goals and 7 assists in 86 games for Aston Villa really isn't the most impressive. However, I think he will offer something really good to this team, something different to what Graven and Taylor offer. And I think that's the most important thing, because Graven and Taylor, as good as they are, particularly Graven, they're not the quickest players. They're not the most physical players in the world. Whereas Davis is that. Davis is pretty fast and he's very physical and strong. And he didn't look phased at all, just like Steve Cook against Arsenal. You know, the mighty Arsenal. He didn't look phased at all against them. And brilliant to see. And he just needs a bit of confidence because he's hardly played a game this season. He's played 11 minutes of football in the league this season. And I think it's good as well that obviously he would have played the game before when they were together at Villa Park. So, you know, honestly, great signing, and just needs a bit of confidence and a bit of time and service as well. I want to talk about Lewis Graven though, because I think Graven, given the fact that he's in the final year of his contract, got to give him a 1-year deal. I think it would be stupid to let him go. He's not the long-term option, okay? Obvious. Long-term, Davis, Taylor and Graven are not really the options. I think Graven is going to be more of an impact player because he did that fantastic impact, obviously, against Arsenal, scoring. And that's what you want. And I think Graven, for the rest of his career, really, is probably going to be more of a better substitute player most games, starting the odd one, than a regular starter. And we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But I don't think Taylor's the option. And Davis, obviously, is a lone player. But anyway, as for actual signings, let's talk about Richie Laryea. Obviously, a new guy from Toronto, fullback, can play both sides. He's more of a right back, and this is good because obviously Spence couldn't play against Burr. We lost, and we lost the other game against Burr. But then again, that was with Chris Hughton in charge. You know, fullback depth is pretty poor. And it's going to be interesting to see because, like, with Colback having to play at left back, and he did so well and has done so well against Arsenal, and every time he's played there, ultimately that is not his position. I don't know how Laryea is going to get into this team. He might maybe start ahead of Lowe, or he might start the occasional game. I think long term he will be more of an option because he's obviously our player. Apparently, don't quote me on this, the fee was £818,000 according to Transfermarkt. God knows why it's 818 and it isn't just rounded up, but we'll ignore that. A bit of background about Laryea as well. He was initially at Orlando City before he was released, and then he was signed by Toronto. He was there for 2 seasons, and for a fullback, this is pretty good. 9 goals and 12 assists in 83 games in the MLS. So yeah, let's wait and see what Richie Laryea can do for us. As well as 3 new signings, we've also seen 2 players come back from loan periods, back to the City ground, probably, or but certainly will not be playing though, this being Harriata and George Shelvey. Harriata only played 6 times on loan for Charlton Athletic, and this was a Charlton Athletic side that was struggling a lot at the start of the season before they got in Jackson, their new manager. Forgive me, I've forgotten his first name, but even in a team that's been bottom half of League One, he couldn't even get a game. George Shelvey as well was on loan at Mansfield in League 2. Mansfield doing pretty mediocre in League 2 currently. But I don't really, even at the time I questioned it. Why is he going to Mansfield? Because I remember they signed another goalkeeper and I thought, well, one of them is going to be the backup, and it was most likely going to be George Shelvey, and it was. He only played 2 times, and apparently according to Mansfield fans, he didn't do that well. So yeah, just didn't really work out. As for players that are out, we've only had 1 player leave the City ground, obviously this being a lone player in Jordi Osei-Tutu. How ironic, back to Arsenal as well. And I was talking to Mimi Bray about this, obviously the co-host of Radscast, the very, very, very inconsistent podcast that we run on this channel. We came to the conclusion that Jordi Osei-Tutu's legs are the most breakable thing of all time, and they're probably more breakable than glass, which is probably the most breakable thing. How many times can I say breakable in one sentence? I did a good job there, in my opinion. But let's finish off by talking about a couple of transfer rumours coming into the City ground. This being the main one, really, Jed Wallace. This would be a coup, an absolute coup. One of the best players in the Championship for the last several seasons. Incredible that he still plays for Millwall. His contract expires this season. He's made 243 appearances for Millwall, and in that time 41 goals, 43 assists. I think that is an amazing return. Obviously he's a winger and he's been linked with quite a few clubs, unsurprisingly. The other Championship teams mainly interested in Jed Wallace being the likes of Middlesbrough and Sheffield United, but also really, really quite out there clubs when it comes to Besiktas as well over in Turkey. Would be a very big culture shock for him going from Millwall to Istanbul. I think that's where Besiktas are, I think. Turkey, anyway. So, yeah, that would be class. And you consider our winger options as well. I think we could do with one. We could do with a winger. You know, you look at Joe Lolly. I love Joe Lolly, and I will be very sad when he leaves just simply because of how he has done in the past. But let's be honest. If Lolly was to leave the team right now, would it really affect us that much? I don't think it would really. And, you know, I love Lolly, but he's a little bit past it, isn't he? He's not, at the very least, my point is, he's not the player that he was. And, you know, we do need someone to probably replace him in the long term. But when it comes to other players, obviously we've got the likes of Zinkernagel on loan. Silva is still a bit of an unknown quantity. Mighton, you know, as much as I like Mighton, I mean, I put him up on my backdrop, which says how much I rate him. But I don't think he's 100% there quite yet. I think there's a bit of, he does need time to develop. Maybe a loan for Mighton wouldn't be bad. Only I personally would keep him around. You look at all that, there's 3 players there where you can kind of pick fault in the winger position. There's only really Johnson that you can 100% rely on, and even he is still developing. He's still a young player. So getting someone like Jed Wallace, 27, that's proven, would be class. And we're talking about other wingers. Josh Bowler. That kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. He's only just signed for Blackpool from Everton, but that would be class. I would love to get Josh Bowler. I prefer Jed Wallace, to be quite honest, but Josh Bowler, he came to the City ground, of course, against Blackpool in the first game. We beat them 2-1, and I was really impressed with him. I thought he did really well. Other players as well, I don't think this is going to happen given the fact we've now got Steve Cook, and it would be a pre-contract signing given the fact that Figueiredo is also being linked with a move away. I forgot to mention that as well. He's been linked with moves back to Portugal. John Shotton from Hearts over in Scotland, or up in Scotland. It would be a bit of a different one. He has played with Scott McKenna, of course, with Scotland. He scored for Scotland in the last international break. He's quite a young player, 25 years of age. But I wouldn't mind him at all. It would most likely be a pre-contract signing, and that also could potentially be the case with Jed Wallace as well. If it was in the summer, I think I would understand it, but right now it would make no sense at all to go and get John Shotton. One player that caught my eye, and I don't know whether I'd really want this to happen, Riley McGree. He currently is now going to be playing for Charlotte FC over in the MLS, and he's been at Birmingham the last year and a half on loan, and he's one of their fan favourites apparently from what I've seen, and Birmingham fans wanting to come back, of course, they would do. But in 30 appearances, the Blues, 3 goals, 2 assists, an attacking midfielder. I don't know. I'm not really sure how that would work, and I don't really know why we'd need him, given the fact we've got so many midfielders. It's probably our best position in terms of depth, so I wouldn't be that keen on that one. And of course, one more player, talking about the likes of Lee Buchanan from Derby. Obviously, Derby are going to be raided with some of their best players, given their situation. We probably could do with another left back, even though we have now got Laryea. But honestly, I wouldn't be too bothered if we didn't get Buchanan. He's a good young player, even though he does play for Derby. But, you know, his contract does expire as well. But honestly, given the fact we've got Laryea, it doesn't really make much sense to me to go and get Buchanan. And also, again, I can't talk about all of them, but Tom Holmes as well from Reading. He's also got 6 months on his contract, centre-back / right-back. Again, a bit like Shotton. Don't really see it happening, given the fact we've got Cook and Laryea. But he is still a name that we could potentially mention. Probably more of a summer signing, to be honest, if we're going to go and get him. So I'm recording this bit at a slightly later time because I somehow, even though he's not a new player currently, forgot to talk about Djed Spence. And I feel like it's a bit stupid not talking about him, given how incredible he is. Obviously, we've managed to keep hold of him for the rest of the season, which, I mean, given the fact that on like New Year's Eve, it was like all but certain, given what Chris Ryder was saying, he's going to go back to Burr, even though allegedly he was just going to warm their bench. We've managed to keep hold of him, which is insane. And obviously, we want to try and get him permanently. We're going to have to pay quite a bit of money for him. Apparently, Burr want up to 10 million, which I think's a coup. Pay it. Please, just pay it. That lad is ridiculous. The amount of passion that he shows for this club, and he's a lone player. Anyone would think that he's Nottingham born and bred, but he ain't. Like, the fact that he is that passionate about us is just incredible. Also, just to quickly mention, Brennan Johnson, of course, obviously he's going to be linked with moves away. £12 million bid has been rejected by Brentford, apparently. I don't see him leaving this transfer window. Of course, in the summer, you could quite easily see it happening. I don't think he's ready for the Premier League just yet. I think definitely in the future, 100%. I think Forest have a chance of getting there the way they're playing right now. But yeah, I don't think Brennan's going to go just yet. But anyway, that is my transfer roundup of the current Nottingham Forest transfer window. It has been really, really busy, and it's only 10 days into the window. Wonder how many players we're going to sign in the rest of the window. Hopefully not too many, because I don't want us to go too mad. I don't really think we need to go too mad right now. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hopefully it's been informative for you as well. Let me know your opinions, of course, in the comments below. What you think should happen with Forest in the transfer window. What else should happen. And yeah, I'll see you very soon for another video.